Leaders from some of the largest global economies are pledging to ramp up aid to Afghanistan as the country faces potential humanitarian and economic catastrophes this winter. The emergency virtual G20 summit was hosted by Italy. President Biden joined the call along with most of the 20 leaders. Russia's Vladimir Putin and China's Xi Jinping were absent. In Afghanistan, banks are running out of money and food prices have soared since the Taliban took control of the country. The EU is pledging over $1 billion in support of the Afghan people, saying they don't wish to legitimize the regime, but acknowledge the need to work with them. CBS News foreign correspondent Roxana Saberi joins me now with more from our London bureau. Hi there, Roxana. It's really great to talk to you. I remember your reports out of Afghanistan just before the complete U.S. withdrawal. You left Afghanistan shortly before that last U.S. military flight. What can you tell us about the thousands of Afghans still seeking asylum?
Hi, Elaine. You're right. We left with a few hundred Afghans who flew to safety. And a State Department spokesman recently said that since August 31st, the U.S. has directly helped evacuate 200 U.S. citizens and permanent residents. He said more than 200 others are still in need of evacuation. Tens of thousands of Afghans who made it to the U.S. remain in military bases waiting to be settled across the country. I've also been in touch with the UN Refugee Agency's global spokesman, Babar Baloch, told me there is no sign of a large refugee outflow from Afghanistan, but the main problem now, he says, is displacement inside the country. The UN says more than 600,000 people have been internally displaced there just this year. Most are women and children. The UN said if the country doesn't get more humanitarian aid soon, the crisis could push more refugees into Afghanistan's neighbors and beyond. Elaine?
Yeah, and you know, Roxana, I was saying how much I recall in vivid detail your reporting from Afghanistan, particularly when it comes to women and girls. I know that at one point you shared this on social media as well. There was an 8-year-old girl by the name of Sharifa who said in Kabul that she was not afraid when she lost her leg in a Taliban attack on her village earlier this year. Just remarkable courage, remarkable strength, remarkable reporting, Roxana. How has daily life changed for women and girls in Afghanistan since you reported there?
Yeah, that 8-year-old girl inspired all of us. So, yeah, I loved hearing her story, and actually she has returned to her hometown. Girls like her, she can go to school now just through grade 6 so far, but the older girls who want to go to high school, they're not allowed yet to go back to school. And in universities, women are segregated in some universities, but public universities like Kabul universities have not yet reopened to women. The Taliban say this is for security reasons, and they haven't given any details yet as to when the women can return. Also, many women have not been able to go back to work except if they're in the fields of, like, for example, healthcare. The new government has also named an all-male cabinet and brought back the Ministry of Vice and Virtue. During the Taliban's previous rule, that department's religious police became known for beating up women for dressing immodestly or going out with a male guardian. So many of the worries and the fears that women and girls we spoke to in the days leading up to the Taliban's takeover of Kabul do seem to have been justified, but yet we still have to wait and see what evolves over time.
Well, Roxana, what do we know about that gathering in Doha over the weekend between U.S. officials and the Taliban? What was discussed?
Well, the Taliban say the U.S. agreed to provide much-needed humanitarian aid to Afghanistan, but Washington was less definitive. In a statement, a State Department spokesman said only that the two sides discussed the subject. He also said the U.S. delegation focused on security and terrorism concerns, human rights, and safe passage for U.S. citizens. The Biden administration has said it would give Afghans assistance through independent organizations and not the Afghan government. And on the subject of ISIS, a Taliban spokesman said his group would not be cooperating with the U.S. to fight the terrorist group. ISIS has claimed responsibility for several recent attacks in Afghanistan, including a suicide bombing in the city of Kunduz on Friday.
Finally, Roxana, how is the Taliban doing when it comes to the day-to-day operations of running a country?
Well, in many ways, they've been struggling. They just don't have the experience or the skilled workers that they need to run the country. And already they've been suffering from brain drain after many educated workers fled in recent months. With no country formally recognizing the Taliban as the official government yet, and several nations still considering the group a terrorist organization, many Afghans are wary of working with them. And the Taliban also don't have enough funding. The Afghan economy relies a lot on international aid, and after they took over, much of that funding grinded to a halt. On top of that, the U.S. has frozen nearly $10 billion in Afghanistan's currency reserves. Inflation is soaring, a lot of banks are not functioning, a lot of teachers and health workers aren't getting paid, hunger and poverty are on the rise. The Taliban's main strength is controlling security, but even that is being challenged by ISIS. Elaine?
It sounds like a very dire picture indeed. Roxana Saberi. Roxana, we're grateful to you for your reporting. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much, Elaine.